Hello and welcome to this pretty remarkable unit of work that we're going to undertake to finish off our Future Schools project for this term. So welcome now collectively to those wonderful students from Caversham who I've worked with several times this year, and this fantastic group in Watheroo that I've met this term. And I know you've undertaken some different projects together, some really fantastic work that you've done, and now we're going to have a shot at a quite remarkable collaborative piece of writing, even though you're almost 300 kilometres apart in your different schools. We're going to read a fantastic opening page of a novel, and then we're going to undertake to continue that novel. Now, in itself, you may have done something like that before, but what we're going to be doing is creating the next set of paragraphs, but we're going to take turns to write each paragraph. So Caversham will write the next paragraph, then Watheroo will follow up on that paragraph, building on the ideas that Caversham have created. We're going to read the opening page of a fantastic novel called The Thief Lord. It's a bit Harry Potterish in some ways, but there are only hints of that. There are only hints of sort of fantasy and those sorts of genre. It is a very exciting start. It's a single page, introduces us to the world of Victor, the private detective who has an office on the canals of Venice, a magnificent city in Italy. And Venice is a real star of this story. So just to put in your mind some really fresh images of where the story is set, let's look now at just on 60 seconds of images about Venice. Talk to you soon. Okay, so we can see that Venice is a pretty spectacular place. It's probably one of the top 5 tourist cities in the world. And we are introduced now to our main character, Victor. And there is his photograph, you can see. He is a private detective. In the bottom right-hand corner of this page is perhaps the most famous private detective of all time. He was a character invented for radio plays in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, Philip Marlowe, and he was a pretty hard-edged kind of guy. And private detectives are pretty hard-edged. But I think when you've read this page, you'll know that Victor isn't. There was a movie made about the Thief Lord, and the big picture I've got in the centre of this page is the photograph of the main character who played Victor in the movie. And you can tell that he's not a hard-edged kind of guy. He's actually a rather bumbling sort of character, a really friendly, hard-working, but occasionally bumbling sort of character. And as we read in the first page, he likes to wear false mustaches for disguises and those sorts of things. So if you can see that I've highlighted some different coloured information in this paragraph, I'm referring to a number of things. One is the city of Venice and some of its main features. Others are to do with descriptions of Victor. Others are to do with the light and the colours and the mood of the room where the story is set so far, which is his office with that spectacular view out over Venice. And the weather and the light play a certain amount of really important impact in this wonderful tale. Venice is very much a feature. The Cornelia Funk, the author, she must really love the city because she's painted it in a really spectacular way throughout the story. I need you to read through this page and realise it finishes at a dramatic point, a precipitous point, as we await to see who the new clients are coming to see him as a private investigator, and then it's going to be over to Caversham to create those clients. Okay, here's the project. Victor is in his office, and he's had a pretty busy day by the sounds of it, and suddenly there are new clients about to enter the door with a special job that they want him to do. That's what private investigators do. People come to see them and say, I want you to do this, I want you to find this. I'm now handing the story over to you, and we're going to send your versions to the author, Cornelia Funk, as well. So you can see that I've asked you to write the next 5 paragraphs, and Caversham's going to write paragraph 1, and there are special things that I need to see that will give the story some direction in paragraph 1. Watheroo will then carry directly on from Caversham's paragraph. I need you to work in groups of 4, and you're going to make substantial decisions each for your paragraphs. I know we've got 8 of you in each school, so 2 groups of 4, obviously. So we're going to end up with 4 versions of the story, which is going to be fascinating to read. But each paragraph must have 4 features that each of you within the group are directly responsible for. Someone must research and find a Venetian landmark, that is a landmark that exists in Venice, a famous building or site or view that might be able to be seen. You need to include it in your paragraph. Secondly, someone needs to design and create a dramatic 3-word sentence to appear somewhere in the story at an appropriate moment. 3-word sentences can break up a pretty long paragraph and have quite a dramatic impact. The third person must continue to build Victor's physical description and even his manner at times. And the fourth person needs to be directly responsible for describing the light and the furniture and the weather in general, if we like, within the office and outside the windows of the office. So there are 4 features each of you are responsible for in each of the 5 paragraphs that we are writing. These 5 boxes are on your SharePoint site, obviously, and first paragraph is to be written by Caversham. Clearly, no one can start paragraph 2 until paragraph 1 is written, so we know who the clients are. On the next slide, you're going to have a look at the planning page. I've simply copied that from your SharePoint site. That is there, and that'll help you take responsibility for the section that you're responsible for your group. Okay, terrific. So that's our project. The dates that you need to have published on the SharePoint site, your completed paragraph in order for the next school to go on with the next paragraph, are on your SharePoint site. I look forward to seeing your planning on the SharePoint site. And when we have our combined online session together, we've got 4 versions of the story to hear. It's going to be quite fascinating to see which way you go. Have no fear. You can't be wrong. Have no fear. We may have 1 client, we may have 5 clients coming in to see Victor. Doesn't matter. So remember that little bit of hint of Harry Potterish. If you think about the trailer to the movie, there are occasional hints of moving statues and those sorts of things. There are some elements that you might enjoy injecting into your story as you progress on each other's work too, which is really exciting considering you're working so far apart. It's an exciting project, and I really look forward to seeing your work. Well done. Cheers.